Pick up that clipboard for me. One of the things I wanted to kind of touch base with you on is what I call protective factors.
Okay.
So when we're talking protective factors, these are things that contribute to mental health and allow people to be more resilient in the face of challenges. And that's what you're going through. Someone with a lot of protective factors, such as a strong relationship and healthy coping skills, will be better equipped to overcome these obstacles. So basically what this comes down to is I want you to be able to review the following protective factors and mark the scale that indicate how well you're performing in each of these areas. So I'm curious. I thought about you at this just because of the fact that we talk about coping skills, social support, physical health, sense of purpose, self-esteem, and healthy thinking.
I don't know how to answer the coping skills one. That's the crazy part.
Think about coping skills. They can shift. The ability to manage uncomfortable emotions in a healthy way. Well, look at it this way.
I don't know if it's in a healthy way, it's just the best way I can.
That's all that matters.
Okay.
Yeah. Nobody's coping skills are the same.
Physical health is hard because there's some of the examples that are on one spectrum and some that are on the other.
Okay.
I'm not exerting myself at all.
Okay.
But I'm taking my medicines on time.
Then that's part of doing
okay.
something good.
Because it's like adequate exercise and no. Weak. But medical compliance? Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So should I just put moderate?
Yeah, moderate.
Okay.
Again, all these bullet points, you don't have, it's not like hitting them all going, oh, I match one and I don't match the other. Flip it over for me. When we refer to protective factors on the previous page, the answers following the questions. Okay, so which protective factor has been the most valuable to you during difficult times?
Numbing.
Numbing has been
Just not by taking drugs or anything. It's just disassociation, I guess.
okay.
It's the only, I realize that's pretty much what I have to do. I dissociate, it's how I've had to, like if I have to spring back quickly, it's just best to put it out.
Okay.
But then it does show up later.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I mean, when we're numbing, we're not necessarily solving an issue. We're just kind of delaying it.
Yeah.
So.
It's just making it through.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, we're still gonna have to deal with it.
Yeah.
So.
It comes out.
Yeah.
Usually through a volley of tears.
Yeah.
That's the crying fits, I think, are just trying to deal with and then stuff it down again and then it'll come back. But yeah.
So
and and that it's like it kind of goes back to that original picture I sent you, that newspaper article. How how can you mourn when you're being chased around? And that's less than 2 months after my dad died.
Yeah.
So I learned then. That's when I learned to stuff it, because even though I was 6, and I've explained to you some of the crazy things that were happening, how do you function? You don't. How do you go to first grade the next day and draw pictures?
Yeah.
You just have to. It's like you have to have this different life, disassociate from that life, and not be a different person.
Well, I don't know
but
if
just.
I don't know if it's disassociating, but I kind of look at it as not necessarily what you were feeling at 6, but when we talk about here and now,
Yeah.
We're looking at going, okay, how do I manage at an older state in life, what my current roadblocks are, like I can continue to numb.
I think I still numb because that's what I do. I don't really have coping skills. I think I just go.
Yeah. And then that's kind of the whole process of this, is understanding, like when we've talked about coping skills in the past, like what are we doing? Because sometimes I think we revert back to the isolation of staying in the place,
trying not to do
not like what some strides you have made, which I think are great. The volunteer work, being able to come here and hear the message and take something from it. I think where we, when I say we, you, are falling, I won't say short, but I'll call it what it is just you seem to go into these cycles, where it's like, okay, now how do we break her out of this?
Depressive cycles, that's I think why I was diagnosed as manic depressive as a kid.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'm necessarily manic depressive, but it's cycles of depression, and I think maybe that's where everything just kind of comes out. It becomes too much to hold on to.
Yeah.
And then it comes up, and then you just stuff it.
How do you let it go? Well, when I say let it go, meaning like there's so much stuff we can compact.
You just start crying and you can't control yourself.
Now remember what we talked about when it comes to when we're holding things in, how that can play with our physical health.
Oh yeah, I am a walking example.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then what was said to me a few weeks ago, where you're like, I'm realizing with all these things going on, like my dad died of this, because of heart complications. My mom died of this because of heart complications, and now you're going through your walk with these complications.
I learned my skills from two people.
Are these good skills?
Probably not.
Probably.
But no, it's like with my mom, like my brother said, my mom was this amazing person, but she had to become reactive.
Yeah. And
I think that's what we know. It's not a functional way, but
how do you want to become proactive? I mean, that's the idea is one of the proactive things you did.
That's why I'm here.
I was gonna say one of the proactive things you did was you walked through this door.
Yeah, it's a work in progress. It's it's 50 years.
Yeah.
Of training and hurt and crap and good and bad and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So it'll take a while to change that.
Yeah.
And my family, my brothers, we all suffer from a very deep depression. And that's hard. I don't know, my parents had it too. So I don't know, I just gotta figure it out.
I mean, well, part of it, part of some of this is, yes, we've been looking back at the past. I know that you said we always say we can forgive, but not forget, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I remember our last session, you said, okay, I can let go of David and what he represents and whatnot, but I'm not going to forget it, which is good. On paper.
No, because it affected so many things in my life.
Yeah.
So much was because of how during the important years of my life he felt I needed to be treated. But no, I've let that go. As much as I can.
Okay.
He's insignificant. He was a stupid, weak man. If you want to go beat on a little girl, because that makes you feel like a man, he was already skewed. You know. He's not important in my life. I have not forgiven. I can. The residual effects are the part that's hard to deal with.
Yeah.
He's a flawed, horrible, he was not a good person.
Yeah.
He was an unhappy person. His kid, so he's not a part of he's not anything I want in my brain, so I feel like I've dropped that. The residual parts,
And that's
the part I need to get rid of.
That's
training.
what sounds like it seeps in, and so when
that's impossible to get rid of. That's where if I really break down relationships I've had of with dating other people. Sorry, I'm having a ringing in my ears.
No, you're good.
That was definitely an effect of the way you're a fat lesbian and no one will ever love you, and that's what he would say to me. No one will want to eat at a table with you.
Do you believe that is true today?
I don't believe it's true, but when I think back on relationships, I didn't vouch for myself because who would want to be with me? I'm disgusting. I'm not saying this.
Yeah.
So
you're saying
it definitely,
that's what you thought.
It definitely, I had to untrain myself a lot, being called fat all the time. When I was younger, I wasn't fat. It's like I was called fat until I was fat, but I'd cover myself up. And then I had to get to the point where I'm like, screw it. Now I don't care, So I've had to lose a lot of those things, but there's certain parts where it definitely affected me. My dating, I mean, that was horrible. The little bit of dating that I didn't do a lot of dating. I was in a very long relationship, but it wasn't healthy. I didn't see healthy, and I wasn't I wasn't taught to to feel valuable or worth being treated well.
Yeah.
And I'm going through it with my niece because she's being very mistreated at home and by her father and her mother, but now what she'll accept in dating because of how her father's treated her. When you have someone, a male that is supposed to love you, it's amazing what you'll accept because of how you've been conditioned. If your male figure will mistreat you and then you're supposed to love them, that's what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
Because it skews you. What you will accept, is not what other people would accept.
What are 2 protective factors you'd like to improve? So when we talk about certain things, when we look at, clearly, I'm gonna circle communication skills.
I'll say self-esteem
Mm-hmm.
and coping skills.
Okay.
Because I think that would help with everything else.
How do you work on your self-esteem now?
Just, I think, by trying to find a sense of purpose. Working is good. Just having something to do. And it's at kind of a low right now because having a lack of support system and stuff, it's very, I'm just, I don't know. Sometimes it's just as easy, put on makeup. It could just showing a little interest in myself sometimes will help with self-esteem. Like when I get up and start cleaning, if I feel like it, which is a crazy thing, that helps my self-esteem. It's just, fostering good relationships, talking with my cousins, talking with my niece, knowing that I have people out there that I love and that love me back. That's important too. That helps self-esteem too, because I realize I'm not as alone as I think I am.
I kind of agree with you on
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
It might not be local. It might not be, hey, can you bring me some water? I've got a fucking viral disease. I don't want to infect everybody at Albertsons. But I can still call my little niece will call me and say, I just wanted to tell you I got my my mannequin head for cosmetology. I just wanted you to know, okay, bye, I love you.
Well, how does it make you feel when she hits you up for that?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so I realize, okay, I'm cool, I'm not as alone as I feel.
Yeah.
So it's just shifting, and then also just expectations. It's all of that stuff. So
And that's all with the
working on my goals. I have a thing on the wall, working on my credit. This is what I need to do. Fix my car. This is what I need to do. So working on these goals and being able to tick off, because I like to be able to see it. Okay, I've done that. That helps too.
Yeah.
Knowing that I'm getting stuff done.
Okay.
And this year has been a lot of getting stuff done, which has been helpful.
Absolutely.
Getting therapy, becoming comfortable in where I'm at, being able to admit that I live in a hotel, being able to, before I couldn't tell anybody. And now it's a hotel, yes, but people live there, and it's part of a community, and I've become part of the community, and
Well,
that's,
community is important.
Yeah.
And that's.
I did Christmas there last year. We did presents for 21 kids.
Okay.
And dropped them off at 4 a.m. and me and my friend dressed up as elves, and nobody knew who did it. And that was really fun, and so those kind of things are awesome.
Oh, that's good.
So
Yeah. So a lot more support than you give yourself credit for.
exactly,
Especially that when it contributes to the self-esteem. And I know that a lot of times things ebb and flow. Life is gonna
Mhm.
ebb and flow a
Yeah.
lot. You know, it's just